Alright, so today's lesson will be about breaking generational curses versus bringing generational wealth. Alright, so breaking generational curses, that can be anything from thoughts, words, actions, ideas, people, places, and things that's been passed down through generations, right? Because you gotta understand that when things are passed down genetically speaking, it goes from generation to generation. You know, that's based on our environment, that's based on the things we put in, it's based on the things our parents have told us, that's based on our subconscious mind, it's based on our DNA memory. So things get passed down through generations that could necessarily be curses that are not good for you. It could be anything from diabetes, it could be trauma, anger, emotions or whatever, anger, fear, shame for being who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? You want to overcome these things that you look at as a curse, you know what I'm saying? So we also got generational wealth. All right, so we look at the term wealth we always look at wealth like it's got to do with money, but wealth is not always about money. The word wealth, it actually comes from the word health. So health is wealth. You get what I'm saying? So when you look at bringing generational wealth into your family, you want to look at that also from generational wealth of the mind, of the body, of the spirit, getting back to your spirituality, having a good understanding about that, how to overcome your emotions, negative emotions that could possibly be negative, you know what I'm saying? Because you see these so-called negative emotions, like shame, fear, desire, anger, guilt, being guilty, being grief. These are things that can be passed down genetically too. You know what I'm saying? So what they do is they cause a scarcity mentality in your mind. They keep you in a cloudy state, so it make it even harder for you to overcome your reality, all based off of something that's been passed down to you genetically speaking. So you have to actually work harder so you can overcome your reality. You know what I'm saying? So how you can overcome is through knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, so you can break that curse. So how we get from understanding to wisdom, that's with research, experience, other people's experience, mentorship, so you can actually break the curse and bring generational wealth into your family for future generations, and you can show your kids what you've done. So now you have induced that into their mirror neuron. So now they done seen what you've been able to do. Now they know that they can do it too. You get what I'm saying? So now for future generations, now your children are able to rise up in that way too. It's just like if your great granddaddy, you know what I'm saying, sold stocks, and then it get passed down, and when the stock market opened up, now you know how to do the stock market, so being, or drugs. Your great was on drugs or had an addictive nature, and then it just passes down over time. So these are things that we don't really quite understand, because it's got to do with genetics at times, and it's got to do with environment at times. But as you go through life, we break generational curses, and we also induce more generational curses into our families. You know what I'm saying? So like let's just say that let's just say just because your great grandma didn't have autism, you didn't have autism, but then a future generation has autism. Now that genetic, if you want to look at it as a curse, or you can look at it as a point of abundance, but depending on how you're looking at it, prospectively speaking, that gets passed down genetically now. You know what I'm saying? So we want to overcome these aspects that we don't find desirable. So we call these adverse stimuli, right? So aversive stimuli, that's basically saying that these are things that could possibly be no good for you, right? So that's what they call it in behavioral science. So let's just say, if it's something that's bringing you shame, if it's something that's bringing you fear in a negative aspect, anger, a negative sense of pride and ego, you want to detach from that. You want to detach from that version of self. You want to teach something different. You want to bring generational wealth to your family on how to think, how to put foods into your body, how to go about spirituality. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta necessarily be put into a box. But if that's what's best for you and your family, to go to church every Sunday because that's what worked for your family, so that y'all can overcome your environment, then that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it. Don't let nobody shame you for being different from them, because it's all about perspectives. What works for you might not necessarily work for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? So emotionally speaking, you might come from a family that's just very emotional, and you know what I'm saying, like when it comes to like negativity and anger, and you know what I'm saying, being guilty of the color of their skin, or having shame for the color of their skin. You know what I'm saying, like you can overcome these aspects of self. Like look at all the positive things about who you are. You know what I'm saying, look at all the resources, the people, places, things, the thoughts, words, actions, and ideas that you can put together, and look at that from a positive point of view on how you can get to the next level. You know what I'm saying, and look at those resources, and now you are showing future generations that this is how we build generational wealth. We take what we have and we work with what we have to get to the next level, and we don't shame ourselves for what we have, and at the same time we don't operate with a lack mentality, because we are grateful for the things that we do have, and because we are grateful for what we do have, and we still give back, we get more. You know what I'm saying, the more you give, the more you receive. The more you're grateful for, the more you will receive. You get what I'm saying, because that's just how the mind works. That's how psychology works. You know what I'm saying. So you know, we overcome this spiritual warfare with psychological positivity. You know what I'm saying, we overcome all aspects of negativity with positivity. But see, you understand, what's good for one person might not necessarily be good for another person. So it's all about perspectives. So how you go about things and what you teach your kids, what's best for you and yours, like I said, might not be best for everybody, but it's what's best for you and yours. So you want to be proud of who you are in a positive sense. And so because I'm proud of who I am, I apply my ego in a positive way to do the right thing, because I have a sense of pride and dignity in who I am, and I honor that by moving correctly of my mind, body, and my soul. You know, like when it comes to emotions, we want to tap into our higher states of emotions like love and peace and joy. Joy being, that's where gratitude comes. Gratitude is right there in alignment with joy. Peace is in alignment with spirituality and just moving correctly. You know what I'm saying? Love is in the same department as compassion and just being present. You know what I'm saying? Not focusing on the past necessarily, but thinking about how we can go about the present moment and get into the future in a positive light. You know what I'm saying? And light alone, the truth, that's enlightenment. That's the highest point of spirituality, just being enlightened on how to do things correctly. You breaking generational curses and you having discipline on how to move and do that. Now you showing the future generations that this is how we can do it. You know what I'm saying? We might have come from that, but now we are this. You know what I'm saying? And have a sense of pride in who you are. Don't be ashamed of who you are, knowing that you can overcome, that we shall overcome. Because, you know, that's what the knowledge, understanding, and the wisdom is all about. Because we gain these tools so that we can overcome. But at the same time, you understand that same way you can gain tools to overcome, they can give you all the tools to destroy yourself too. So it takes a little bit of patience, persistence, experience, learning from other people's experience. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's where you gain the wisdom at. You know, doing the research, mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Like these aspects will get you to the next level. So this is gonna help you break them generational curses and bring generational wealth back to you and yours. You know, and we don't gotta go out there and shout about it and tell the rest of the world, because we're doing it for our own. You know what I'm saying? And because we're doing it for our own, we protecting ourselves at the same time. We don't need none of that resistance. We don't need nobody who got their own perspective on how they should do things in their life, because they come from a whole nother genetic background on how to tell us how to do what we gonna do for ours. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna do the best we can, because that's all we can do. That's all a nigga can do. You know what I'm saying? Is the best you can. I'm gonna be grateful for who I am and how I'm operating and how I'm moving to get to the next level. And that's what we do. So that's generational curses versus generational wealth. I hope this made sense. And good luck on your journeys. Each one teach one. I show you.